Right, hello everyone. Welcome to the last lesson you've probably got before half term. Let me know you are here in the chat so that I know who I'm speaking to, so I know who I'm aiming the lesson at in particular. Today we will be continuing to look at trace tables, and one of the things we will be doing, so we'll be continuing to kind of look at trace tables, visual inspection, looking at all of those different things that we have been looking at in the last few lessons. But later on in the lesson, I would like to do a bit of a Q&A sort of thing. So I will be giving you the tasks that I want you to be doing for the lesson. But what I actually thought is that the majority of the live part of the lesson, that we could have a bit of a Q&A type thing going on in the chat to make this a bit more interesting than usual, and considering it's the last lesson before half term. So what you have been working on is the single core and dual core practice questions, this booklet here. A lot of you have managed to do question 1, 2, etc., 3, and most of you have managed to get up to question 3 done, as far as I have seen from what you have posted. Some of you haven't actually sent me anything yet, so I do still need something from you. And then dual core, starting with question 4, is a lot of what a lot of you have been working on, and then you can delete this box, right click, delete, to have a bit of a clue there if you want it. It does get harder as you go along, but if you have any specific questions about these, first I would look at the help sheet that's here at the very end of the document, but that's specifically for the question 4, 5, 6, rather than the first part, which should be a little more straightforward. So that's the workbook that I want you to work on, and I want you to be able to go through and have a go at completing those trace tables, because as I've mentioned before, trace tables are used a lot in exams, so I would like to see you being confident in using them. And talking of exams, I've got some exam questions. So these are from past papers for the most part. You can see even like the 09, all of that kind of stuff is there. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see a bit better. There we go. So you've got some questions. And again, there's single core. So they start a bit easier. They move on to a bit harder ones as you go along. And then there's even quad core ones, which are a bit more complicated. So hopefully those of you who can have a go at that would be able to do so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the links for both of those in the chat, but I will be expecting you to do those in your own time rather than during the live stream, because I know sometimes I'm just kind of sitting here with the music going and it's a bit boring. So what I would like to do is send you those links, make sure you've got them ready to go, but for us to have a bit of a chat and see how things are going. So the links, let me get them up. So first link was for the for this trace tables workbook. If you've already started it, please continue working on the one you had. Oh, one of the things I must make sure you do, okay? In fact, I'm going to send these links first so that we can get this done first. Right. So if you haven't already got them, which some of you might do, so if you go into documents, you might already look at some of your previous copies. So you might already have a copy, like I've got about 5 copies of them, because I've been showing you so many times how to do this. But so please check that you don't have one there before you you use this link. So here's the link for the workbook, the practice questions for you. Okay. Oh, I've zoomed in a bit too far there. In fact, I've zoomed in with the wrong bit. Should be zooming in here. So that's for the practice questions. And before we move on, I'm going to give you the link as well to the exam questions. Okay, so there's the link for the exam questions. Again, what you will be expected to do is you can paste the link in. It will come up with something that looks a bit like this. Copy document. Would you like to make a copy of Trace Tables exam questions? So you shouldn't have a copy of this already because I haven't given these to you yet. So you just click make a copy. And what I would like everyone to do right now is, once that's loaded, click on share. Click on get link down at the bottom here. Then click anyone with the link. Copy this link. And then open up Show My Homework. And then send it to me in Show My Homework. Okay? So I'm going to do that again because I know that might have been a bit fast. So I'm just going to change this back so it makes sense. So once you've got your copy up, once you've clicked make a copy from that link, you click share, you click get link, you change this to anyone with the link, copy this link, go into Satchel 1, find where you've been set the homework, and paste that link into either a comment or submission, any of those kind of things. Just post those in, okay? Please get that sent. The reason I ask you to do that now, I can see, even if you haven't completed it yet, I can see when you have completed it. So if I was to have shared that link with you and then start typing in here, you will see what I have typed. So it's not like when you send me a document and then if you make changes to that document, you have to send it again. You only have to send me it once and then I get to see any changes you make in the future. So that's what I'd like you to do. Again, share, get link, make sure this is anyone with the link, copy this, that you can just click on this over here and it will do it for you and go into Satchel 1 and send that to me. Okay, I've said it about 5 times. Hopefully, well, I've said it 3 times. Hopefully, you'll be able to remember how to do that and make sure that works. Okay, so that's for the exam questions one. Please make sure you've done that for the trace tables one as well. If you're looking at one you've done before, you can always check that it's got the correct link by just making sure that has been set to anyone with the link. If you have sent me this link before, you don't need to send it to me again, but you do need to make sure that it's set to anyone with the link. Right. So, like I say, I will expect you to have completed that at some point today, or I can give you until next lesson really if you want, but I would prefer if you just try to do it today. If you set the time that you would have been watching the rest of the video aside to complete those tasks. Okay. So one of the things I want to do is ask you another question. So one thing I've noticed is that in fact, before I ask this question, I'll ask you a couple of questions. I'll ask you to ask me some questions. So if you have any questions that are related to either computer science or general COVID-19 related questions that you're asking about what's happening with the school or anything, I will do my best to answer them. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to give you a straight answer, a clear answer, because I don't have all the answers myself. So think of some questions that you might want to answer, might want me to answer, sorry. But I would like your opinion. on whether we should continue with 2 lessons a week or whether we should go down to 1 lesson a week, because I'm noticing that both the lessons that we have, I'm not getting a huge turnout on both lessons. So, and some people tend to go for 1 lesson over the other. So what I would probably end up doing if we do go down to 1 lesson a week is have every other lesson be theory or practical based. Now, I think we need to focus more on the practical at the moment, because I think a lot of you are panicking a little bit about this programming project coming up, and just kind of thinking about what you would like to do, because I don't want it to be the case that you kind of going, oh, I've got another lesson, because the reason I asked you in the first place whether you wanted 1 lesson or 2 was because I thought generally most of you were finding it very interesting, and I was getting a good turnout originally, but that has changed. So I want to just see what your opinion on that is. So put in the chat what you think your opinion on that is. I've had 1 response so far. So or if you don't want to put it in the chat, you can always put it in show my homework to if you're worried about other people reading your comments. So with regards to high-paying jobs to do with computer science, absolutely. Computer science opens up a huge world of jobs. I mean, one of the most obvious jobs when it comes to computer science is programming and making apps or developing something in some way. Now, obviously, that involves being able to program well, so that's one of the things you need to consider if you're looking into doing computer science. But there's plenty of other jobs which having that computer science background is a really helpful thing. So if I just quickly look up computer science jobs, I will show you. Let me find. Yeah, here we go. I mean, this is a US site, but it's the same sort of an idea. So where's it gone? There was a list earlier. Yeah. So you've got data scientists, software testers, web developers, systems analysts, business analysts. So these are people that will look at a system, so like a program or whatever, and kind of analyze it and go, okay, what's gone wrong here, or what could go better. Looking at networking, so doing the kind of job that, say, Mr. Shedlock does, maybe even for an even bigger firm, that kind of thing. It doesn't have to be sort of a local school or anything like that, but networking is something that can be paid quite a lot for. Looking at databases, designing user interfaces, developing mobile applications, research and developing scientists. So if you enjoy science, then you can do some research and development into lots of different things. You could do artificial intelligence, machine learning. There's also, so these are the kind of most obvious ones, but there are also things like if you were to work for the NHS and to get, you might be able to create systems for them to do something very specific for them. So say if they're looking at brain scans and want to create a way of seeing all those scans and not have to go through them manually or something like that. I don't really know how the system would work, but that would be another option. You could, like, computer science works really well with a lot of other industries, in that you can pretty much go, okay, what am I passionate about other than computer science, and how can I link that with my computer science knowledge. And so being able to kind of go, yeah, you can do all of these kind of things, but you could also do something much more specialized to a particular thing. So if you were looking at, I don't know, if you really enjoyed linguistics or language, then you could build something to help people analyze language better, or you could look into machines being able to understand language well, and that sort of thing. You could, if you were interested in, I'm trying to think about some other things. If you're interested in food technology, that sort of thing, you could look into how machines can prepare food for us, or how they can, yeah, everything that you could possibly think of, every industry that you could possibly think of will be able to have some sort of job involved where computer science makes a huge difference. So these kind of jobs, let's have a look at, if you were looking at software developers, they can become quite high paid. I know you're asking in particular about high paid jobs. So software developers can be quite high paid. I had a friend who, in fact, I've still got this friend, but he has done software developing for quite a big company, and they are, they paid him really well, but he's moved on from there now. So, but it's one of those things. It's looking at what kind of thing you would like to look at. There are so many different options when it comes to computer science. It's not a specific thing, because the world around us is now very technological, and you can pretty much have technology in any subject. Okay. Nobody else has asked me a question. I would have thought I'd have had loads of questions. I mean, I don't know what you've been told with regards to the year 10s and coming back to school or whatever. At the moment, it's very up in the air as far as I know, and we as a school are looking into ways that it would be possible for you to come back and be able to work in some way at school. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you would be able to come into, say, my classroom and get on with the programming project. As much as I would love that to be the case, I don't know whether that's going to be possible. And it's a discussion that the school are having at the moment. Seriously, no other questions? No other opinions on the on how many lessons we have? Let me just see if anyone's posted anything. Right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that all of you who are watching are actually paying attention. There are 6 of you at least. So I'm hoping that you have been. I've had one person submit their exam questions. Please make sure you've got those submitted. And yes, then it doesn't matter if you haven't done them yet. Maybe post on the just comment onto the submission that you have done it once you've finished. But I would like that from everybody, please. Everybody who is joining in now. So once you've got that link, paste it into Show My Homework so that I can see it, and so that I can see what you've managed to do and what you've maybe not understood, and you can ask questions about that. Okay. No other questions? No other responses? And could you could you let me know what you do already know about going back to school and that sort of thing? Because I'm at the moment I'm kind of craving a little bit of interaction with my students, because I've not been able to see you in ages, and it's kind of going, oh, I haven't seen you. Oh, what's going on? Do you know what's going on? So just something might be nice. Like I say, just want these two copied over and into Satchel 1, into Show My Homework. Okay, Miss Bibby said. Okay. So I think I'm going to end it there. If you have any more questions, please post them in Show My Homework so I can see those questions. I will keep an eye on Show My Homework. I have it on my phone, so it does go off, and I do recognise when you send me something, and it's Brandon Barnett. So it should be possible for me to respond very quickly to your messages, but I will give you a moment to be able to get on with these questions, these trace tables, exam questions, and the workbook. Okay, because I want to see that you know how to do it. What do you mean by can I call? You won't be able to speak to me one-on-one if that's the question you're asking, because I don't know if that's something that the school would let me do. Oh, I see. Right. Okay. I will, as I say, leave it at that. Only a couple of people seem to be interacting in any way. I would have liked a little bit more interaction, but okay. Like I say, workbook, exam questions, get those submitted to me. Any questions you have, please submit those too. And have a lovely half term. I hope that it gives you a little bit of respite from all the busyness that has been going on, and that you don't get too bored just sitting inside all day. Have a lovely half term. I will communicate with you on Show My Homework about the differences between what I'll decide about the lessons. I'm kind of leaning towards going down to one lesson a week just because of the uptake I've had recently. So if you have any reason that you don't want that to happen, please post in Show My Homework, let me know, and I will see you after the half term. Bye.